Hello students, in this video we're going to be learning how to solve a triangle, and to solve a triangle basically just means finding everything out about it. By the time you're done solving a triangle, you need to know all three sides and all three angles of that triangle. Most of the time you're going to be using trigonometry to go about finding the missing parts of the triangle. If it's a right triangle, you were taught about the Pythagorean theorem. So we're going to use all these different rules to go about solving this triangle. So here's the first problem, and it's triangle ABC, which means by the time you get done, you need to know all three angles, so capital A, capital B, and capital C, and you need to know all three sides, little a, which is the side opposite angle A, little b, the side opposite angle B, and the same for little c. And in this problem, it looks like they tell you a couple of things. You're told that angle C is 90 degrees. So I know that angle. You're told angle A, so big A is 40 degrees in 10 minutes. And they're telling you the side opposite angle A, so little a, is 8.3. So your job in this question is to try to figure out angle B, and side C. So the first thing we can do is go about finding angle B. You can officially find any of these three remaining pieces. You can find angle B, or side C. You can go about finding them in whatever order that you want. But when you have two angles of a triangle, I think the best plan of attack is to remember that the sum of the angles is always 180 degrees. So if I add up my three angles, I should get 180. So that's what I'm going to do on my calculator. I'm going to first add 90 degrees and 40 degrees 10 minutes. Then I'm going to take this answer, and even though my answer is not in minutes just yet, I'll convert it at the end. Now I'm going to go 180 degrees minus that 130. And that's going to give me that the missing angle is going to be 49.83 degrees. So I did on my calculator 180, I'm in degree mode, minus the previous answer, which is the second button followed by the negative button. Now what I'm going to have to do, since it's an angle, is I'm going to have to DMS that angle to get my degrees and minutes. So here it turns out that angle B is 49 degrees and 50 minutes. So I can fill that in my picture and also in my information. Remember, I'm solving the triangle, so I'm trying to find out all the missing pieces of that triangle. Okay, now I have to go about finding little b. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find angle B in my triangle, draw a line opposite, and put an X. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use trigonometry to try to figure out what that X is going to be. To do trigonometry, I'm going to label my picture, so I have my hypotenuse opposite the right angle. The angle I'm going to use is the 40 degrees and 10 minutes that was given to me in the problem. Even though I have now angle B as well, I think you should always use what's given to you in the problem because you know that's correct. You could have made a calculation error finding angle B, and then you're using something that's incorrect to try to find another piece of the triangle. So here my angle is going to be 40/10. I'm told the 8.3 is opposite that 40 degrees and 10 minutes. And here I'm trying to find X, which is little b, and compared to angle 40 degree 10 minutes, side X is going to be the adjacent. So here I'm going to be using SOHCAHTOA because it's a right triangle. Here I'm given the opposite and the adjacent, the O and the A. So here I'm going to be using the tangent. The tangent of an angle equals opposite over adjacent. So here I'm going to have the tangent of my angle, and here the angle was 40 degrees 10 minutes. That equals the opposite, which we said was 8.3, over the adjacent, which is X. And now I'm going to solve by putting the tangent of 40 degrees 10 minutes over a 1. But here my X is in the denominator, So when x is in the denominator, I'm going to use that switcheroo rule, which basically says to take the x and the tangent and switch places. So that means I'm going to have x is going to go where the tangent was. That equals the 8.3 that's still there, divided by, now the tangent of 40 degrees 10 minutes takes the x spot. So here to figure out x, which is side B, I'm going to do 8.3 divided by the tangent of 40 degrees 10 minutes on my calculator. So here it looks like x, which stands for side B, was 9.8. So now I'm almost done. I figured out what angle B was, I figured out what side B is. Now remember, to solve a triangle means you need to know what all three angles and all three sides are. So my last step is going to be to find little c, which is the side opposite angle C, which in this case happens to be the hypotenuse of the triangle. And I can go about solving for c in two different ways, and I'll show you each way. First, we can go back to sophomore year math. When you have a right triangle, if you know two of the sides, 9.8 and 8.3, to figure out what the third side is, you could use the Pythagorean theorem. So when you know two of the sides, you need to find the third side. One way is to do a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Remember, the most important letter in the Pythagorean theorem is c, the hypotenuse, and that happens to be what we're trying to solve for, so that's x. The other two sides are this 8.3 and this 9.8. It doesn't really matter what's a and what's b. What does matter is letter c. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this entire left-hand side on my calculator. I'm going to do 8.3 squared plus 9.8 squared. So that's going to give me 164.93 equals x squared. And the way I'm going to solve for x is now I'm going to take the square root of both sides. So on my calculator, I'm going to just take the square root of that previous answer. And it looks like here, that other side, that last side, turns out to be 12.8. So now we're done. We solved the triangle. We know what all three sides and all three angles are equal to. And here I will circle up my final answers.